Hello, welcome to Homestead in the Colony. I'm Ann, and I'm so glad that you're here. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about peace in the storm. I kind of lost my peace a little bit yesterday, but I'm going to show you why. Thanks for listening. So if I've managed to be able to put that picture in here in the editing, because I'm not all that great about it, you'll see that the land of plenty was flat. A windstorm had come while we were gone, and I had seen and heard my friend Jewel on J7409 on the Weather Channel talk about the big winds that we had had, but I just didn't know. And I didn't know what to expect when I got home. Now, I had called one of my neighbors that only comes here on the weekends. I thought she was headed to Lowe's, and I said, I just got a feeling, how about will you pick me up some tomato steaks? And we talked again a few minutes later, and they weren't going to Lowe's. And I thought, oh, well, everything will be all right. It'll be okay. And then I came home to that with the tomatoes flat on the ground. I started tearing up. It's crazy to be so attached to our flowers and our garden, and oh, my heart was just broken. And I called my husband crying and said, they're all ruined, it's terrible, the garden is an absolute mess. And it was hotter than blazes. It was about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I was a sweating mess, running all over the yard. Now let me give you a little clue for you husbands out there. Yeah, when your wife calls you and she's distraught and she's sad and she's teary, don't say, what are you upset about? They're going to be just fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it when we get home. What you do say is, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be able to help you take care of it when I get back. It's going to be all right. So just so you husbands out there know, that's what you say. That's kind of what he was talking about towards the end of the phone conversation, because I wasn't so nice. I was sinking in that storm. So I'm crying and carrying on, and I'm taking off to go to the store, and ran into the hardware store because we only have a couple here in our town. We don't have any big box stores. And I'm trying to find the tomato steaks, and I couldn't find them. For one thing, I was a nervous wreck. And I turned around, and there was my neighbor. Now, that was the first blessing that had called. She had specifically gone into a store because she said in my voice, it sounded like I needed some help. Well, I just burst into tears like an absolute idiot. I was Peter sinking in that water, and Jesus is reaching down and picking me up. So he sent me my good friend. Anyway, we found some tomato steaks, and she didn't even want me to drive. I was such a basket case. She let her husband drive herself home, and she stayed with me and drove. I drove, but she rode with me on the way home. She helped me out, and they were wooden steaks, so they had to be sawed down. Now, this sweet neighbor, what an amazing blessing. Went over while my husband wasn't home. He took over and sawed an edge onto all these things, all these posts. He cut them the length that I needed. They sent their son, who has recently graduated from college, to come over and put the post up for me because they knew they would need to be pounded into the ground. And I started tying them up. And they're saying, it's going to be all right. We're getting this done. I'm here to help. Now, that was such an amazing blessing. And so I worked like a crazy person. I mean, my cucumbers were down. The radishes, the leaves had blown completely away. And I'm ripping those radishes out. I mean, I ripped them out before they were ready. I've got some over here to show you. I mean, all the leaves were gone from my radish plants. And this one isn't anything but a toothpick. It was bad, y'all. It was bad. Oh, so I worked most of the afternoon getting my garden back, telling it, I'm so sorry, I'll never leave you again, which is not reasonable. Okay, it's not reasonable. And we began to get a rainstorm. It wasn't even a storm, really. It was just a rain, which is what we needed so desperately. And so, as I was laying in bed last night, lying down, and I could hear the thunder and the rain, and it was feeding these crops, I'm gonna put up some more pictures of what the land of plenty looks like today. As I was laying down and telling the Lord, I have done everything I can. I got to give it up to you. You got to take care of it. If I'm supposed to have it and it's your will, then that's what we'll do. And I woke up this morning to still a trickle of rain. It's still overcast and a little cooler and raining just a tad. But I have included some pictures at the end of this video to show God's glory. And oh, ye of little faith. So what happens when we have a relationship with the Lord is not that we won't have these crazy panic times, that we won't lose our minds. And quite frankly, broke farmer, if I'd had any of that Stella Rose in the house, you might not have gotten any last night. Anyway, I didn't have any. But so what I'm saying and what I'm getting to in a roundabout way, you'll see these wonderful pictures of what the garden looks like this morning and how things are going and how the Lord blesses us because He knew what was going on. I just didn't know, and I didn't have the patience to wait. Thank you so much for coming to Homestead in the Colony. I'm Ann, and I want you to be able to take care, and I hope to see you soon. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye. So peace of the Lord be with you today. Thank you for coming.